Hi guys, I'm back. Today is the 19th of June 2021. Today I'm going to read Genesis 26 to 30, Proverbs 19, and Psalm 22. Let's get started. There was very little food in the land. The same thing had been true earlier in Abraham's time. Isaac went to Abimelech in Gerar. Abimelech was the king of the Philistines. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. Stay there for a while. I will be with you and give you my blessing. I will give all these lands to you and your children after you, and I will keep my word that I gave to your father Abraham. I will make your children after you as many as the stars in the sky, and I will give them all these lands. All nations on earth will be blessed because of your children. I will do all these things because Abraham obeyed me. He did everything I required. He kept my commands, my rules, and my instructions." So Isaac stayed in Gerar. The men of that place asked him about his wife. He said, "She's my sister." He was afraid to say, "She's my wife." He thought, "The men of this place might kill me because of Rebekah. She is a beautiful woman." Isaac had been there a long time. One day, Abimelech, the king of the Philistines, looked down from the window. He saw Isaac hugging and kissing his wife Rebekah. So Abimelech said to Isaac, he said, "She's really your wife, isn't she? Why did you say she was your sister?" Isaac answered him, "I thought I might lose my life because of her." Then Abimelech said, "What have you done to us? What if one of the men had slept with your wife? Then you would have made us guilty." So Abimelech gave orders to all the people. And he said, "Anyone who harms this man or his wife will surely be put to death." Isaac planted crops in that land. That same year he gathered 100 times more than he planted. That was because the Lord blessed him. Isaac became rich. His wealth continued to grow until he became very rich. He had many flocks and herds and servants. Isaac had so much that the Philistines became jealous of him. So they stopped up all the wells the servants of his father Abraham had dug. They filled them with dirt. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Move away from us. You have become too powerful for us." So Isaac moved away from there. He came to the valley of Gerar, where he made his hut. Isaac opened up the wells again. They had been dug in the time of his father Abraham. The Philistines had stopped them up after Abraham died. Isaac gave the wells the same names his father had given them. Isaac's servants had dug wells in the valley. There they discovered fresh water. But the people of Gerar took care of their own herds and argued with the people who take care of Isaac's herds. "The water is ours," the people of Gerar said. So Isaac named the well Esek. That's because they argued with him. Then Isaac's servants dug another well. They argued about that one too, so he named it Sitnah. Isaac moved on from there and dug another well, but no one argued about that one, so he named it Rehoboth. And he said, "Now the Lord has given us rain. Now we will be successful in the land." From there Isaac went up to Beersheba. That night the Lord appeared to him. He said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid. I am with you. I will bless you. I will increase the number of your children because of my servant Abraham." Isaac built an altar there and worshipped the Lord. There he set up his tent, and there his servants dug a well. During that time, Abimelech had come to him from Gerar. His personal advisor, Ahaziah, had come with him. So he had his army commander, Phicol. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me? You were angry with me and sent me away." They answered, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you." We said, "There should be an agreement between us and you. We want to make a peace treaty with you. Give us your word that you won't harm us. We didn't harm you. We always treated you well. We sent you away peacefully, and now the Lord has blessed you." Then Isaac had a feast prepared for them. They ate and drank. Early the next morning, the men made a treaty with each other. Then Isaac sent the men of Gerar on their way, and they left peacefully. That day Isaac's servants came to him. They told him about the well they had dug. They said, We found water." So he named it Sheba. To this day, the name of this town has been Beersheba. Then Esau was 40 years old. He got married to Judith. He was the daughter of Beeri the Hittite. Esau also married Basemath. She was the daughter of Elon the Hittite. Isaac and Rebekah became very upset because Esau had married a Hittite woman. Isaac had become old. His eyes were so weak he couldn't see anymore. One day he called for his older son Esau. He said to him, "My son." "Here I am," he answered. Isaac said, "I'm an old man now, and I don't know when I'll die. Now then, get your weapons. Get your bow and arrows. Go out to the open country, hunt some wild animals for me. Prepare for me the kind of tasty food I like. Bring it to me to eat. Then I'll give you my blessing before I die. Rebecca was listening when Isaac spoke to his son Esau. Esau left for the open country. He went to hunt for a wild animal and bring it back. Then Rebecca said to her son Jacob, "Look, I heard your father speaking to your brother Esau. He said, 'Bring me a wild animal. Prepare some tasty food for me to eat. Then I'll give you my blessing before I die. The Lord will be my witness.'" Rebecca continued, "My son, listen carefully. Do what I tell you. Go out to the flock. Bring me 2 of the finest young goats. I will prepare tasty food for your father, and I'll make it just the way he likes it. Now, I want you to take it to your father to eat. Then he'll give you his blessing before he dies." Jacob said to his mother Rebecca, "My brother Esau's body is covered with hair, but my skin is smooth. What if my father touches me? He would know I was trying to trick me, so he would curse me instead of giving me a blessing." His mother said to him, "My son, let the curse be on me. Just do what I say. Go and get the goats for me." He went and got the goats. He brought them to his mother, and she prepared some tasty food. He made it just the way his father liked it. The clothes of her older son Esau were in her house. She took Esau's best clothes and put them on her youngest son Jacob. She covered his hands with the skins of the goats. He also covered the smooth part of his neck with them. Then she handed to her son Jacob the tasty food and the bread she had made. He went to her father and said, "My father." "Yes, my son," Isaac answered. "Who is it?" Jacob said to his father, "I'm your older son Esau. I have done as you told me. Please sit up. Eat some of my wild meat. Then give me your blessing." Isaac asked his son, "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" "The Lord your God gave me success," he replied. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Come here so I can touch you, my son. I want to know whether you are really my son Esau." Jacob went close to his father. Isaac touched him and said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." Isaac didn't recognize Jacob. Jacob's hands were covered with hair like those of his brother Esau. So Isaac blessed him. "Are you really my son Esau?" he asked. "I am," Jacob replied. Isaac said, "My son, bring me some of your wild meat to eat. Then I'll give you my blessing." Jacob brought it to him. So Isaac ate. Jacob also brought some wine, and Isaac drank. And Jacob's father Isaac said to him, "Come here, my son, and kiss me." So Jacob went to him and kissed him. When Isaac smelled the clothes, he gave Jacob his blessing. He said, "It really is the smell of my son. It's like the smell of a field that the God has blessed. May God give you dew from heaven. May He give you the richness of the earth. May He give you plenty of grain and fresh wine. May nations serve you. May they bow down to you. Rule over your brothers. May the sons of your mother bow down to you. And may those who curse you be cursed. And may those who bless you be blessed." And Isaac finished blessing. When Isaac finished blessing him, Jacob left his father. Just then his brother Esau came in from hunting. He too prepared some tasty food. He brought it to his father. Then Esau said to him, "My father, please sit up. Eat some of the wild meat. Then give me your blessing." His father Isaac asked him, "Who are you?" "I'm your son," he answered. "I'm Esau, your oldest son." Then Isaac began to shake all over. He said, "Then who hunted a wild animal and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came. I gave him my blessing, and he will certainly be blessed." Then Esau heard his father's words. Then he laughed loudly and bitterly. He said to his father, bless me too, my father." But Isaac said, "Your brother came and checked me. He took your blessing." Esau said, "Isn't Jacob just the right name for it? This is the second time he has taken advantage of me. First he took my right as the oldest son, and now he's taken my blessing." Then Esau asked, "Haven't you saved any blessing for me?" Isaac answered Esau, "I have made him ruler over you. I have made all his relatives serve him. I have provided him with grain and fresh food. So what can I possibly do for you, my son?" Esau said to his father, "Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father." Then Esau wept loudly. His father Isaac answered him, "You will live far away from the fruit of the earth. You will live far away from the dew of heaven above. You will live by using the sword, and you will serve your brother. But you will grow restless, and then you will throw off the heavy load he has caused you to carry." Esau was angry with Jacob. He was angry because of the blessing his father had given to Jacob. So he said to himself, "The days of sorrow over my father's death are near, and I'll kill my brother Jacob." Rebekah was told what her older son Esau had said. So she sent for her younger son Jacob. He said to him, "Your brother Esau is planning to get back at you by killing you. Now then, my son, do what I say. Run away at once to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him until your brother's anger calms down. Then, when he forgets what you did to him, I'll let you know. Then you come back from there. Why should I lose both of you in one day?" And then Rebekah spoke to Isaac. She said, "I'm sick of living because of Esau's Hittite wives. Suppose Jacob also marries a Hittite woman. If he does, my life won't be worth living. My life won't be worth living." So Isaac called for Jacob and blessed him. Then he commanded him, "Don't get married to a Canaanite woman. Go at once to Paddan Aram. Go to the house of your mother's father, Bethuel. Find a wife for yourself there. Take her from among the daughters of your mother's brother Laban. May the Lord God bless. May the mighty God bless you. May he give you children. May he make your family larger until you become a community of nations. May he give you and your children after you the blessing he gave to Abraham. Then you can take over the land where you now live as an outsider. It's the land God gave to Abraham." Isaac sent Jacob on his way. Jacob went to Paddan Aram. He went to Laban, the son of Bethuel, the Aramean. Laban was Rebekah's brother, and Rebekah was the mother of Jacob and Esau. Esau found out that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him to Paddan Aram. Isaac wanted him to get a wife from there. Esau heard that when Isaac blessed Jacob, he commanded him, "Don't get married to a woman from Canaan." Esau also learned that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother and had gone to Paddan Aram. Then Esau realized how much his father, Isaac, disliked Canaanite women. So he went to Ishmael and married Mahalath. She was the sister of Nebaioth and the daughter of Abraham's son Ishmael. Esau added her to the wives he already had. Jacob left Beersheba and started out for Haran. He reached a certain place and stopped for the night. The sun had already set. He took one of the stones there and placed it under his head. Then he lay down to sleep. In a dream, he saw a stairway standing on the earth. Its top reached to heaven. The angels of God were going up and coming down on it. The Lord stood beside the stairway. He said, "I am the Lord. I am the God of your grandfather Abraham and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your children after you the land you are lying on. They will be like the dust of the earth that can't be counted. They will spread out to the west and to the east. They will spread out to the north and to the south. All nations on earth will be blessed because of you and your children after you. I am with you. I will watch over you everywhere you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." Jacob woke up from his sleep. Then he thought, "The Lord is surely in this place, and I didn't even know." Jacob was afraid. He said, "How holy this place is! This must be the house of God. This is the gate of heaven." Early the next morning, Jacob took the stone he had placed under his head. He set it up as a sacred stone, and he poured olive oil on top of it. He named that place Bethel. The city used to be called Luz. Then Jacob made a promise. He said, "May God be with me. May he watch over me on this journey I'm taking. May he give me food and clothes. May he give me food to eat and clothes to wear. May he do as he has promised so I can return safely to my father's home. Then you, Lord, will be my God. The stone I've set up as a sacred stone will be God's house, and I'll give you a tenth of everything you give me." Then Jacob continued on his journey. He came to the land where the eastern tribes lived. There he saw a well in the open country. 3 flocks of sheep were lying near it. The flocks were given water from the well. The stone over the opening of the well was large. All the flocks would gather there. The shepherds would roll the stone away from the well's opening. They would give water to the sheep. Then they would put the stone back in its place over the opening of the well. Jacob asked the shepherds, "My friends, where are you from?" "We're from Haran," they replied. He said to them, "Do you know Nahor's grandson Laban?" "Yes, we know him," they answered. Then Jacob asked them, "How is he?" "He's fine," they said. "Here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep." "Look," he said, "the sun is still high in the sky. It's not time for the flocks to be brought together. Give water to the sheep and take them back to the grasslands." "We can't," they replied. You have to wait until all the flocks are brought together. The stone has to be rolled away from the opening of the well. Then we'll give water to the sheep." He was still talking with them when Rachel came with her father's sheep. It was her job to take care of the flock. Rachel was the daughter of Laban, Jacob's uncle. When Jacob saw Rachel with Laban's sheep, he went over to the well. He rolled the stone away from the opening. He gave water to his uncle's sheep. Jacob kissed Rachel. Then he began to cry because he was so happy. He had told Rachel he was a relative of her father. He had also said that he was Rebekah's son. Rachel ran and told her father what Jacob had said. As soon as Laban heard the news about his son Jacob, he hurried to meet him. Laban hugged Jacob and kissed him. Then Laban brought him to his home. There Laban told him everything. Then Laban said to him, "You are my own flesh and blood." Jacob stayed with Laban for a whole month. Then Laban said to him, "You are one of my relatives, but is there any reason for you to work for me for nothing? Tell me what your pay should be." Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older one was Leah, and the name of the younger one was Rachel. Leah was plain, but Rachel was beautiful. She had a nice figure. Jacob was in love with Rachel. He said to Laban, "I'll work with you for 7 years so I can marry your younger daughter Rachel." Laban said, "It is better for me to give her to you than to some other man. Stay here with me." So Jacob worked for 7 years so he can marry Rachel. They seemed like only a few days to him because he loved her so much. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife. I've completed my time. I want to sleep with her." So Laban brought all the people of the place together and had a feast prepared. But when evening came, he gave his daughter Leah to Jacob, and Jacob slept with her. Laban gave his female servant Zilpah to his daughter as her servant. Then Jacob woke up the next morning. When Jacob woke up the next morning, there was Leah next to him. So he said to Laban, "What have you done to me? I worked for you so I could marry Rachel, didn't I? Why did you trick me?" Laban replied, "It isn't our practice to give the younger daughter to be married before the older one. Complete this daughter's wedding week. We'll give to you the younger one also, but you'll have to work for another 7 years." So Jacob completed the week with Leah. Then Laban gave him his daughter to Rachel to be his wife. Laban gave her servant Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as a servant. Jacob slept with Rachel also, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. Then he loved Leah, and he worked for Laban for another 7 years. The Lord saw that Jacob didn't love Leah as much as he loved Rachel, so he let Leah have children. But Rachel wasn't able to have children. Leah became pregnant. She had a son. She named him Reuben. She said, "The Lord has seen me suffer. Surely my husband will love me now." She became pregnant again. She had a son. Then she said, "The Lord heard that Jacob doesn't love me very much. That's why the Lord gave me this one too." So she named him Simeon. And she became pregnant again. She's had a son. Then she said, "Now at last my husband will value me. I have had 3 sons by him." So the boy was named Levi. She became pregnant again. He had a son. Then she said, "This time I will praise the Lord." She named him Judah. Then she stopped having children. Rachel saw that she wasn't having any children by Jacob, so she became jealous of her sister. She said to Jacob, "Give me children, or I'll die." Jacob became angry with her. He said, "Do you think I'm God? He's the one who's kept you from having children." Then she said, "Here's my servant Bilhah. Sleep with her so that she can have children for me. Then I too can have a family through her." So Rachel gave Jacob her servant Bilhah as a wife. Jacob slept with her, and Bilhah became pregnant. She had a son by him. Then Rachel said, "God has stood up for my right. He has listened to my prayer and given me a son." So she named him Dan. Rachel's servant Bilhah became pregnant again. She had a second son by Jacob. Then Rachel said, "I've had a great struggle with my sister. Now I've won." So she named him Naphtali. Leah saw that she had stopped having children, so she gave her servant Zilpah to Jacob as a wife. Leah's servant Zilpah had a son by Jacob. And Leah said, "What good fortune." So she named him Gad. Leah's servant Zilpah had a second son by Jacob. Then Leah said, "I'm so happy. The woman will call me happy." So she named him Asher. While the wheat harvest was being gathered, Reuben went out into the fields. He found some mandrake plants. He brought them to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." But Leah said to her, "Isn't it enough that you took my husband away? Are you going to take my son's mandrakes too?" Rachel said, "All right, Jacob can sleep with you tonight if you give me your son's mandrakes." Jacob came in from the fields that evening. Leah went out to meet him. "You have to sleep with me tonight," she said. "I've traded my son's mandrakes for that time with you." So he slept with her that night. God listened to Leah. She became pregnant and had a fifth son by Jacob. And Leah said, "God has rewarded me because I gave my female servant to my husband." So she named the boy Isaac. Leah became pregnant again. She had a sixth son by Jacob. Then Leah said, "God has given me a priceless gift. This time my husband will treat me with honor. I've had 6 sons by him." So she named the boy Zebulun. Sometime later she had a daughter. She named her Dinah. Then God listened to Rachel. He showed concern for her. He made it possible for her to have children. She became pregnant and had a son. Then she said, "God has taken away my shame." He said, "May the Lord give me another son." So she named him Joseph. After Rachel had Joseph, Jacob spoke to Laban. He said, "Send me on my way back to I want to go back to my own home and country. Give me my wives and children. I'll work for you to get them. Oh, so I'll be on my way. You know how much work I've done for you." But Laban said to him, "If you are pleased with me, stay here. I've discovered that the Lord has blessed me because of you." He continued, "Name your pay. I'll give it to you." Jacob said to him, "You know how hard I've worked for you. You know that your livestock has done better under my care. You had only a little before I came. But that little has become a lot. The Lord has blessed you everywhere I've been. But when can I do something for my own family?" "What should I give you?" Laban asked. "Don't give me anything," Jacob replied. "Just do one thing for me. Then I'll go and take care of your flocks and watch them. Let me go through all the flocks today. Let me remove every speckled or spotted sheep. Let me remove every dark-colored lamb. Let me remove every speckled or spotted goat. They will be my pay. My honesty will be your witness about me in days to come. It will be a witness every time you check on what you have paid me. Suppose I have a goat that doesn't have speckles or spots, or suppose I have a lamb that isn't dark colored, then it will be considered stolen." "I agree," said Laban. "Let's do what you have said." That same day, Laban removed all the male goats that had stripes or spots. He removed all the female goats that had speckles or spots. They were the ones that had white on them. He also removed all the dark-colored lambs. He had his sons take care of them. And then he put a journey of 3 days between himself and Jacob. But Jacob continued to take care of the rest of Laban's flock. Jacob took freshly cut branches from poplar, almond, and plane trees. He made white stripes on the branches by peeling off their bark. Then he placed the peeled branches in old stone tubs where the animals drank water. He placed them there so that they would be right in front of the flocks when they came to drink. The flocks were ready to mate when they came to drink, and so they made it in front of the branches. And their flocks gave birth to striped, speckled, or spotted little ones. Jacob put the little ones of the flock to one side by themselves, but he made the older ones face the striped and dark-colored animals that belonged to Laban. In that way, he made separate flocks for himself. Now he didn't put them with Laban's animals. Every time the stronger females were ready to mate, Jacob would place the branches in the stone tubs. He would place them in front of the animals so they would mate near the branches. But if the animals were weak, he wouldn't place the branches there. So the weak animals went to Laban, and the strong ones went to Jacob. That's how Jacob became very rich. He became the owner of large flocks. He also had many male and female servants, and he had many camels and donkeys. Jacob heard what Laban's sons were saying. "Jacob has taken everything our father owned," they said. "He has gained all this wealth from what belonged to our father." Jacob noticed that Laban's feelings toward him had changed. Then the Lord spoke to Jacob. He said, "Go back to your father's land and to your relatives. I'll be with you." So Jacob sent word to Rachel and Leah. He told them to come to the fields where his flocks were. He said to them, "I see that your father's feelings toward me have changed, that the God of my father has been with me. You know that I've worked for your father with all my strength, but your father has cheated me. He has changed my pay 10 times. In spite of everything that's happened, God doesn't let him harm me." Sometimes Laban would say, "And the speckled ones will be your pay." Then all the flocks had little ones, the speckles. At other times he said, "The striped ones will be your pay." So then all the flocks had little ones with stripes. So God has taken away your father's livestock and given them to me. Once during the mating season, I had a dream. In my dream, I looked and saw male goats mating with the flock. The goats had stripes, speckles, or spots. The angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob, I answered. Here I am, he said. Look around you. See the male goats mating with the flock. All of them have stripes, speckles, or spots. That's because I have seen everything that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, and that is where you poured olive oil on the sacred stone. There you made a promise to me. Now leave this land. Go back to your own land. Rachel and Leah replied, Do we still have any share of our father's property? Does our father think of us as outsiders? First he sold us. Now he has used our body. He is paid for us. All the wealth God took away from our father really belongs to us and our children. So do what God has told you to do. Then Jacob put his children and wives on camels. He drove all his livestock ahead of him. He also took with him everything he had acquired in Paddan Aram. He left to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. Laban had gone to clip the wool from his sheep. While he was gone, Rachel stole the statues of the family gods that belonged to her father. And that's not all. Jacob tricked Laban, the Aramean. He didn't tell him he was running away, so Jacob ran off with everything he had. He crossed the Euphrates River, and he headed for the hill country of Gilead. On the third day, Laban was told that Jacob had run away. He took his relatives with him and went up after Jacob. 7 days later, he caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. Then God came to Laban, the Aramean, in a dream at night. He said to him, Be careful, do not say anything to Jacob, whether it is good or bad. So Jacob had set up his tent in the hill country of Gilead. That's where Laban caught up with him. Laban and his relatives camped there too. Laban said to Jacob, What have you done? You have tricked me. You have taken my daughters away like prisoners of war. Why did you run away in secret and trick me? Why didn't you tell me? Then I could have sent you away happily. We could have sung to the music of tambourines and harps. You didn't even let me kiss my grandchildren and my daughters. Proverbs 8:19. It is better to be poor and to live without blame than to be foolish and to twist words away. Getting excited about something without knowledge isn't good. It's even worse to be in a hurry and miss the way. A person's own foolish acts destroy their life, but the heart is angry with the Lord. Wealth brings many friends, but even the closest friend of a poor person abandons them. A dishonest witness will be punished, and whoever pours out lies will not go free. Then you try to win the favor of rulers, and everyone is a friend of the person who gives gifts. Poor people are avoided by their whole family. Their friends avoid them even more. The poor person runs after his friends to beg for help, but they can't be found. Anyone who loves gets wisdom loves life. Anyone who values understanding will soon succeed. A dishonest witness will be punished, and those who pour out lies will die. It isn't proper for a foolish person to live in great comfort. It is much worse when a slave rules over princes. A person's wisdom makes them patient. They will be honored if they forgive someone who sins against them. A king's anger is like a lion's sword, but his favor is like dew on the grass. A foolish child is a father's ruin, but a nagging wife is like dripping that never stops. You will receive houses and wealth from your parents, and a wise wife is given by the Lord. Anyone who doesn't want to work sleeps his life away, and a person who refuses to work goes hungry. Those who keep commandments keep their lives, but those who don't care how they live will die. Anyone who is kind to poor people learns to live the Lord. God will reward them for what they've done. Train your children, because then there's hope. Don't do anything to bring about their deaths. A person with a bad temper must pay for it. If you save them, then you'll have to do it again. Listen to advice and accept correction. In the end, you will be counted among those who are wise. A person may have many plans in their heart, but the Lord's purpose wins out in the end. Everyone longs for love that never fails. It is better to be poor than to be alive. Having respect for the Lord leads to life. Then you'll be content and free from trouble. A person who doesn't want to work leaves his hand in the dish. You won't even bring it back to his mouth. If you are the person who makes fun of others, childish people will learn to be wise. If you warn those who already understand what's right, they will gain even more knowledge. Anyone who robs their father and drives out their mother is a child who brings shame and dishonor. My son, if you stop listening to what I teach you, you will wander away from the words of knowledge. A dishonest witness makes fun of what is right. The mass of those who do wrong gulp down evil. Those who make fun of others will be judged. Foolish people will be punished. Psalm 22. My God, why have you deserted me? Why do you seem so far away? Why, when I need you to save me? Why do you seem so far away that you can't hear my groans? My God, I cry out to you in the daytime, but you don't answer. I cry out at night, but you don't let me sleep. But you rule from your throne as the Holy One. You are the God Israel praises. Our people have long ago put their trust in you. They trusted in you, and you saved them. They cried out to you, and you and was safe. They trusted in you, and you didn't let them down. Everyone treats me like a woman, not a man. They hate me and look down on me. All those who see me laugh at me. They shout at me and make fun of me. They shake their heads at me. They say, he trusts in the Lord. Let the Lord help him. If the Lord is pleased with him, let him save him. But you brought me out of my mother's body. You made me trust in you, even when I was at my mother's breast. From the time I was born, you took good care of me. Ever since I came out of my mother's body, you have been my God. Don't be far away from me. Trouble is near, and there's no one to help me. Many enemies are all around. They are like strong bulls from the land of Bashan. They are like roaring lions that tear to pieces what they kill. They open their mouths wide to attack me. My strength is like water that is poured out on the ground. I feel as if my bones have unconnected. My heart is turned to wax. It is melted away inside me. My mouth is dried up like a piece of broken pottery. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You bring me down to the edge of the grave. A group of simple people has closed in on me. They are all around me like a pack of dogs. They have pierced my hands and my feet. Everyone can see all my bones right through my skin. They all stare at me. They laugh when I suffer. They divide up my clothes among them. They cast lots for what I am wearing. Lord, don't be so far away from me. You give me strength. Come quickly, tell me. Save me from being killed by the sword. Save the new life I have. Save me from the power of those dogs. Save me from the mouth of those lions. Save me from the horns of those wild oxen. I will announce your name to my people. I will praise you among those who are gathered to worship you. You who have respect for the Lord, praise him. All you people of Jacob, honor him. All you people of Israel, worship him. He has not forgotten the one who is hurting. He has not turned away from his suffering. He has not turned his face away from him. He has listened to his cry for help. Because of what you have done, I will praise you in the whole community of those who worship you. In front of those who respect you, I'll keep my promises. Those who are poor will eat and be satisfied. Those who seek the Lord will praise him. May their hearts be filled with new hope. People from one end of the earth to the other will remember and turn to the Lord. The people of all nations will bow down in front of him. The Lord is king. He rules over the nations. All rich people of the earth will feast and worship God. All who go down to the grave will kneel in front of him. Those who cannot keep themselves alive will kneel. Those who are not yet born will serve him. Those who are born later will be told about the Lord, and they will tell people who have not yet been born. The Lord has done what is right. Now that's done, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.